Happy new Lamborghini Hypercar Day. This is the Fenomeno, and it is the most powerful, fastest Lamborghini ever. So in this video, I'm going to give you a detailed tour all around it, talk you through the specs, and we're going to meet this car's bloodline, the series of standard road car based unicorns built for Lamborghini's wealthiest, most fanatical fans. Right then, the Fenomeno. And yes, it is Fenomeno, not Phenomena, because this is named after a bull, not a cow, so it has to be the masculine translation. We're seeing this car so early here in Lamborghini's Centro Stile design studio deep within the factory that this isn't even a real car, this is a model, as you can see by the very tinted glass that's not glass, the fake brakes, yeah, the grills aren't see-through, but we can have a good look round it. It's so new. Look, it doesn't even have a proper badge which will one day say Fenomeno. Now, Lamborghini calls these special projects few offs. They're actually only going to build 30 of these and then sell 29. One of them will be kept right here at the Lamborghini factory and live in its museum. Now, this car is based on a Revuelto. They make no secret of that. It's got the same tub, it's got the same glass, and it has most of the same powertrain. But I was amazed how much this car isn't just a straight up rebody, unlike the very first car that started the few off lineage. And that story starts here in 2007 with the Reventon, or Reventon, if we're doing proper pronunciation. I'll try my best for you today. So based on a Murcielago LP640, but tuned up to 650 horsepower from the V12, but it's all about this bodywork, isn't it? Inspired by stealth fighter aircraft like the F-22 Raptor. It's even got the stealth paint and lots more military chic aerospace inspired upgrades like heat-proofed LED taillights, and the instruments inside were restyled to look like a fighter jet's head-up display. Now, at the time when they were going to build 20 of these, they didn't know if they'd manage to sell 20 for 850 grand. It was 4 times what a standard Murcielago cost. Were they all going to sell? Yes, easily. So easily, in fact, that when they decided to take the roof off and do a Reventon Roadster with 670 horsepower, they doubled the price, and all 15 of those sold out as well. Moving on to 2010, we get the odd one out in the Lamborghini limited edition family tree, because this is the only car not based on the V12 side of the lineage. This is basically your ultimate Gallardo Superleggera. It's the V10 in the back of this. It's called the Sesto Elemento, as I'm sure you know. That's Italian for sixth element, carbon, if you know your periodic table. And that's because this car is just carbon, a little bit of glass, and 4 tyres. Weighs 999 kilos, Lamborghini claims, which is in the Gordon Murray T50 league, isn't it? Phenomenally light and full of carbon technology as well. This is the first car ever that had forged carbon in it, that was co-developed between Lamborghini and people who make posh golf clubs. It's got, well, no aircon, no stereo, no interior at all really, just seats molded into the tub like a LaFerrari. Now, the rumor is that although they were going to make 20 of these, because it was track only and not road legal, Lamborghini struggled. Maybe only 8 or even 10 were made. And that's kind of ironic really, because now our friends at Lanzante have made one of these things road legal, and that would have been a good investment, because new, this was about €1 million. Nowadays, more like 2. Now, the Fenomeno is very much road legal, and it is all carbon fiber body, but that's not because it wants to be a stripped out road racer. It's actually to offset the extra weight of its bigger battery. Same size physically as the Revuelto's battery, but with twice the capacity, and that means they've been able to juice up the motors to give it that Lamborghini record-breaking performance. The 6.5 litre naturally aspirated V12 has only gained 10 horsepower, with Lamborghini engineers admitting it's been tricky to manage that in an engine that already revs to 9,500 RPM and has to comply with worldwide emissions rules. It's actually the electric half that's doing more of the heavy lifting. The 3 electric motors generate a combined 242 brake horsepower, 50 more than the Revuelto's hybrid system, and that's been unlocked with that new battery, which is the same size but slightly heavier than the Revuelto's because it offers up twice the capacity. That's how fast battery tech is evolving at Lamborghini. So, your 1065 brake horsepower Fenomeno beats the 1001 bhp Revuelto off the line, doing 0 to 62 miles an hour in 2.4 seconds and 0 to 124 in 6.7 seconds if you spec the super sticky optional track day tyres. Top speed is still claimed at over 217 miles an hour. And I'm prepared to take a punt that it's also going to sound mental, because look at the size of this exhaust. That's not a pipe, is it? That is a, I don't know, XL post box. Anyway, now we're looking at the details. Let's really get stuck into the looks. You have an active rear wing with 1, 2, 3 positions. This is the fully laid down long tail position, and then it will come up twice for ever more downforce. You get 30% more downforce on this than in a Revuelto. Round the back, I like this. I like how purposeful, dark, motorsporty it is. There's almost no body colour paintwork here at all. It's all just raw carbon. And vertical tail lights, bit of a departure for Lamborghini, interesting. Then down here, they've done the same thing as the Temerario. There is just no mudguard, no tyre cover at all back there. I have no idea how it's legal. It looks awesome, but do not follow this. You will need a respray and a new windscreen. Then, of course, if you've got the most powerful V12 in Lamborghini history, you should showcase it, and they have. There is no glass over the engine cover. That's quite Bugatti. You've just got this carbon spine coming down from the roof scoop, because if you're doing a fuel-off hypercar, you're going to have a roof scoop, aren't you? It adds 1,000 hypercar aura points. And coming down the side, you start to play a game of, well, spot the Lamborghini reference. Your Reventon style turbine wheels here with center locks like an Aventador SV. The general side of the car, I mean, it could only be a Lamborghini silhouette. They've nicked a bit of that from our friend, the old Countach model over here. But then this intake here is inspired by the revival of the Countach. We'll have a look at that in a moment. It's actually interesting that this, again, is not just for style. Adding this bigger battery, adding more power to the engine has played havoc with the cooling that have been designed for the Revuelto. They need so much more cooling to keep these things at the right temperature. So engine cooling's being done here. There's oil cooling and battery cooling coming out the back. And then aero is interesting because you've got this colour split. You see that? It sort of reminds me of the Aston Valkyrie, not in how extreme it is, but in how you've got this body colour up top for the sort of styled bits, and then bare carbon down below for the all business aerodynamics, which Lamborghini's actually been at longer than you might have thought. As we get into 2014, Lamborghini's really getting the hang of this, really getting into its stride, and it's got this new Aventador platform to play with, and that gets us the Veneno, or the Veneno if you prefer. Let's not get stuck on the pronunciation, because there's a funny story about this car. When it was revealed at the Geneva Motor Show, there was this rumour that Lamborghini was basically pissed off that the hypercar Holy Trinity was nicking all the limelight. This was when the LaFerrari was being unveiled, the production spec P1, Porsche announced the 918 Spider had done a sub 7-minute lap of the Nürburgring, and Lamborghini had kind of nothing, no hybrid certainly, to show off. So what they did was said, well, we're just going to unveil a car that is more expensive and rarer than all of your cars. And that was this: 4 coupes, 9 roadsters, 3 million euros for what's basically a heavily body kitted, super downforcey Aventador with no hybrid gubbins whatsoever. But maybe it was a clever idea. One of these was auctioned last year for $6 million, twice what it cost new. Certainly a brutal looking thing, definitely not the prettiest. Centenario next then, 2016, celebrating 100 years since the birth of Ferruccio Lamborghini, the company founder. You're probably getting the drill by now. Aventador SV basis, 770 horsepower from the V12. First Lamborghini with rear wheel steering, first Lamborghini with a touchscreen, 20 coupes, 20 roadsters, £1.6 million each, and today at auction, about the same, so kind of the bargain of the group. And then at the front, coming past another little aero flick off this wheel arch, they've done away with the Revuelto's big spidery LED that's spread out all over the front. You've got these hooded headlights here that are kind of quite McLaren's 750S, makes the car look really menacing. Added more width to it as well. The car is actually wider than the standard Revuelto. The bonnet, there's no thought to luggage space here. This is about aerodynamics. You've got an S duct where air is being blown up here, out over the bonnet and channeled over the car, bringing downforce onto the front. So overall, it definitely passes the key acid test, doesn't it? Could you take the badges off, paint it all black and not in a signature color, and guess what brand it is? Yeah, I think it's unmistakably Lamborghini because it is paying homage in so many ways to V12 raging bulls of the past. Speaking of which, getting into recent history now, and I've not been looking forward to pronouncing this one. It is, depending on who you ask, the Sian or the Sian or the Sian. I'm going to call it the FKP37 if you don't mind, because this is the car that paid tribute to the late Ferdinand Piëch, born in 1937, the Volkswagen Group supremo, the big boss who instructed the Germans to go and buy that silly little Italian supercar maker and turn it into this mega profitable colossus. What's interesting about this car is also that it's green, sort of. This is the moment that hybridity comes to Lamborghini. It's a V12 with e-boost, 30 horsepower motor in the gearbox to smooth out those infamously awful Aventador jerk gearbox shifts, and it's charged not by a big heavy lithium ion battery, but by a fast discharge, fast recharge supercapacitor. Really clever. But they didn't use it in the Revuelto or the Temerario, did they? 63 coupes built, 19 roadsters, so they're getting more common, these few offs, but they're not getting any cheaper. 2.2 million euros for a Sian C FKP37. And then the most recent and possibly the most controversial limited edition Lamborghini, it's the Countach LPI 800. Basically, the mechanicals of that one, the hybrid V12, but with this retro Countach inspired body dropped onto it. Like the original Countach, no spider version, 112 units made, so the most common of any of the cars here, 112 because the original Countach from the 70s was Project Codename 112, top Lamborghini nerd fact for you, and 2 million euros before taxes. But yeah, like I said, didn't go down too well with everyone, including Marcello Gandini himself, the designer of the original Countach. I've got his quote here. He was interviewed exclusively by TopGear.com, and he said he didn't know this was happening until the last minute. Lamborghini disagreed. And he said, furthermore, to repeat a model of the past represents a negation of the founding principles of my DNA. Ouch, that is awkward. But not awkward enough to stop every single Countach being hungrily snapped up by collectors, so who knows what Lamborghini might revive in the future. Could we see a revived Miura in production, or a few-off LM002 based on the Urus? I want to hear your Lamborghini fantasies in the comments, and while you have a think, here's a few more Fenomeno facts. Remember I said this isn't just a rebody? Well, they've changed a lot more than just the battery and that pizza box swallowing exhaust. The engineers have thrown away the Revuelto's adaptive dampers and fitted manually adjustable suspension, which they say encourages each driver to tailor the car to their heart's content and give it a more old school handling feel. But the new brakes are completely state of the art. This will be the first Lambo ever to use CCMR next generation carbon discs with even lower wear rates and higher temperature resistance. feels to me like they're testing out new tech for the Revuelto SVJ. What hasn't changed much is this, the Fenomeno's interior. It's very close to the donor car, but Lamborghini says the dashboard has been tweaked to look more alien. Now, I can't show you the full interior today because they're still creating it, but we do have a couple of clues. Look at this. Here is your all-carbon Fenomeno door card featuring fighter jet style window switches. Love that touch. And no limited edition lightweight Lamborghini would be complete without horrendously uncomfortable carbon bucket seats. So let me test that out for you now. Let's get in. Oh yes, that's very, very tight around the legs and no padding in here whatsoever. That's going to make a real mess of your undercarriage when you sit on it. Yeah, just like sitting in an Aventador SVJ, you'd be more comfortable on a pile of bricks. Bang on the money. Something I've learned talking to the people within Lamborghini who work in the few off department is that the owners of these things, they do fewer than 1,000 miles a year, and the reason that they buy them is changing. It's certainly not for driving them, which kind of makes you wonder why make any engineering changes, but neither is it just about auctioning them off for profit. It may have used to been, but now it's more about the pleasure of making something bespoke, speccing your very own, having something totally unique, which is kind of ironic when you think about where the few off started out with the Reventon, the Sesto, Elemento, with cars that were either painted grey or not painted at all. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Top Gear YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our hypercar first looks. And the last question, well, that's for you in the comments. Lamborghinis are the bedroom wall poster cars for every generation. Does the Fenomeno make the grade?